Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys? Today I'll continue my dystopian series and I have 1984 by George Orwell. To make this video I searched a lot and a great channel that helped me was Academy of Ideas. Specifically the video George Orwell 1984, How Freedom Dies. Just really great. I already talked about Orwell here in my Animal Farm video and I won't lie, I much prefer it to 1984. However, I can't deny that this is a great book. Before talking about it in more detail, it's necessary to highlight that this was Orwell's last book and it was published in 1949, some decades before 1984. And this is a notable characteristic because most dystopias are written in a future far, far away, which is obviously not the case because it's way closer. Despite being written as dystopia, Orwell observes the state of current affairs in it. And yes, before I forget, today's dystopian trope is government control. The World of 1984 is a theory of modern totalitarianism. This form of government includes both right-wing and left-wing traits. He actually explains this idea in the quote, "The two regimes, having started from opposite ends, are rapidly evolving towards the same system, a form of oligarchical collectivism." According to him, capitalism is impracticable, and only socialism could solve the problems of produce and consumption. This way, the capitalist system needed to be replaced. The great question was, which type of regime would replace it? Oligarchy, which represents totalitarianism, or social democracy, which, according to him, represents true democracy. Another variable that influences our way to the society presented in 1984 is the rise of hedonism. Orwell believed that the Western population shaped his lifestyle to be as pleasurable as possible, which isn't great because it made them susceptible to fanatical ideologies. This idea is also presented in Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I recently made a video about it. If you haven't seen, go check it out. Although this idea is presented in a different manner by each of them. Now, about the book. It opens with the iconic, "It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Suggesting very clearly that this world was not the same as ours. The world of 1984 is divided in three states, originated from World War II. Oceania, which represents the British Isles, the Americas, Pacific, Australia, Eurasia, Europe and Russia, and East Asia, that is, the rest of the world. The novel is set in Airstrip 1, formerly Great Britain, a province of the superstate Oceania, whose citizens are victims of a perpetual war, omnipresent government surveillance, and public manipulation. In it, the citizens speak Newspeak, a language of controlled vocabulary and simplified grammar, which basically limits their ability to think for themselves or critically analyze anything really. It's not the first time Orwell talks about this. In his essay, Politics in the English Language, he criticized the inaccuracy of linguistics and its use to aid political ideologies. In this uneasy future, now what if past, we are presented to Winston, our main character. Winston longs for a human connection and above all, for privacy. The increasing paranoia is driving him insane. One of the reasons for this was Big Brother, and no, not the reality show, although this book inspired it. Big Brother is actually a symbol that observes society. No one really knows if Big Brother is a person or not, but he is described as having a mustache. Okay, let's get back to it. Furthermore, there are four ministries: the Ministry of Truth, the Ministry of Peace, the Ministry of Love, and the Ministry of Plenty. They have purposely contradictory names. For example, the Ministry of Peace is in charge of waging war, the Ministry of Love is in charge of political torture, and the Ministry of Truth is in charge of changing history books to reflect the party's ideology. Well, Winston works at the Ministry of Truth, which functions as a way to spread newspeak amongst people and decide what truth is. Well, basically, brainwashing. Outside of the building, there are three slogans of the party. War is peace, ignorance is strength, and freedom is slavery. War is peace. Well, I can kind of see where this comes from, besides the literal meaning that, well, in the end, the sacrifices are worth it, and yay. Reading Erich Fromm's opinion really changed my mind in this issue because, well, he basically says that war is not great, but peace is just slightly better. And this is such a rich concept to me. It's interesting and it puzzles my mind a lot, and I really want to talk about it, but I won't because I'll just start babbling and I wouldn't talk about the book. So, next topic. Ignorance is strength. It's clear how this refers to ignorance is good, basically legitimating the whole brainwashing process that happens there. It's also important to note that universal truth is not a thing there. Double thinking is the norm. And before you ask, the definition of it is a process of indoctrination whereby the subject is expected to simultaneously accept two mutually contradictory beliefs as correct, often in contravention to one's own memories or sense of reality. Freedom is slavery. Well, this one made me wonder a lot because it reminds me of I haven't seen this comparison, which is weird to me because this is a criticism to extreme regimens, so it made a lot of sense in my head. Okay, but the meaning of this motto is that anyone who becomes independent to society's control is bound to be unsuccessful. Before going to this part, I'll put a trigger warning for rape. These are the timestamps if you want to skip it. One of the most well-known controversies are the rape dreams. I won't go into detail, but it's pretty disturbing. And the worst part is, it could be understandable. I mean, I would understand it if it was Winston's point of view, because it's completely fine to make a bad character, That's the point of writing. But no. The narrator himself treats most matters and concerning this through facts and just, it doesn't sit right to me, okay? I can't. Well, but this opens the idea that one of the doctrines of the party includes misogyny, and funnily enough, or doesn't recognize his own internalized misogyny. To end the video, I like to paraphrase Fromm, who said that overall's hopelessness in mankind's future stands in contrast to one of the most fundamental features of Western thought: faith in human progress and the ability of man to create a world of justice and peace. Thank you for watching, folks, and that's it. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any book requests, please write them down in the comments. Bye!